friends. I'm going to try to film a vlog with a baby who's awake and playing. So we'll see how this goes. I put out a call on Instagram for some Q&A stuff, and I found that I had to break it down into 4 categories: mom stuff, fun stuff, career stuff, and blog stuff. And I started writing the mom post, and it was over 1,000 words. So I figured I would try to do a video to maybe make it a little more interesting, because that's a lot of words to read in a blog post. So the first question was, what's your biggest tip for new moms? And I feel like I have so many tips, not because I'm an expert, but because there's been so much trial and error on my part over these past 8 months. Oh my God. But I think my answer revolves around vulnerability, because I've found that the more vulnerable I'm willing to make myself, the easier it is to deal with stuff. So if I'm trying to be super mom and pretend that I have it all together or everything is really easy, I'm dying on the inside. But if I would think anybody who says that something's hard, the courage to say, man, this really fucking sucked today, it makes it so much easier to just deal with it and move on, rather than stuffing it down and pretending it should be a certain way. So my advice would just be, deal with whatever you're dealing with and accept it for what it is and move forward. Because I feel like a lot of times we think things are supposed to be a certain way, and then when they're not, we get stressed about them. So, and that's not to say that it's all going to be bad by any means. So it's good to make yourself vulnerable and say, man, this was hard today. But it's also good to make yourself vulnerable and say, I've never been so happy in my whole entire life. So it just revolves around being authentic, because nobody likes a fake person. I know you asked for 1 tip, but I have 2. So answer 1.5 is don't neglect your marriage. And I think that it's so important to work on your marriage all the time. But I think I'm only speaking from the first year of a baby, first year of having your first baby. It's so hard, and you're so exhausted, and it's really easy to then fall into a roommate routine with your husband or partner, because it's like, hey, how you doing? Did he eat? Did he poop? Yes, yes. Okay, see you tomorrow. Do it again. So you really have to take an active approach to go date each other, and whether that means going out on dates or having a date night once he or she is asleep, just hanging out, having conversations that you like to have before you had a baby, because again, it's easy to fall into a poop, sleep, eat conversation about revolving the baby, not you, unless that's something you like talking about. So that, and I think it's important to mention intimacy and whatever that means to you. I don't mean that doesn't necessarily mean sex, because right after you have a baby that is birthed out of your vagina or cut out from your body, it's okay if you don't say yeah, I totally want to have sex right now. So but intimate means, whatever that means to you. I think that's worth noting as well, in the first year for a new mom or a new couple. I'm going to have a baby in January, and I'm terrified of giving birth. Any thoughts or recommendations for getting through labor and the days that follow? I remember not being afraid of labor and delivery until I was about 8 months pregnant, because then I was like, oh shit, this has to come out of me. And really the one thing that helped, the thought, mantra, whatever you want to call it, is women have been doing this forever. Thousands of years, women have been giving birth. There's nothing unique about me giving birth. You know what I mean? So that kind of calmed me down. People do it every day, and people do it under more difficult circumstances than what I was going to experience. So that I was also nervous that I wouldn't know when I was having contractions. You will know. I was like afraid I wasn't gonna know I was having contractions, and then I was gonna like give birth in my living room. Not gonna happen. Breathe through them, which is way easier said than done because your whole body like tenses up. And get that epidural, girlfriend. If you're going natural, good on you. I don't have any advice for that because hashtag low pain tolerance. No, I was all about those drugs. So, what else? Once you've had the baby, take it slow. Take all the help that is offered to you by your partner or the medical staff, because it's hard. You just went through something really major. So, give yourself some grace and just take it slow. And hoard the mesh underwear. Seriously. Trust me on this one. I still have mesh underwear in my closet, in my bathroom. And if you have a C-section, walk around as soon as somebody lets you because it speeds up recovery. And most importantly, just be ready to have your mind blown with how much you can love something. It's unreal, and you can't even imagine it until it happens, but it's so wonderful. How did you start feeding Jack real foods? At 6 months, we started feeding him solids based on our pediatrician's recommendations, and we did purees. I tried the baby-led weaning, which I posted about probably too prematurely because it didn't work out when we tried it. I think it was too soon for him and for me because, let's be honest, I am so nervous about choking, and I know that if I'm anxious, then he'll be anxious, and it's just stupid. So and because he eats most of his meals when I'm alone with him, I'm terrified that he's going to choke on something, and even though I know what I'm supposed to do, I'll probably forget it, so he really likes beets, pureed. And when he eats them, he looks like he bit a head off a bat because it's just he's like, ah, and it's just red. So that's interesting. And, but now he's 8 months old and we're starting, to give him, real food. And he really likes scrambled eggs, bananas, avocado, sort of. So you can read all the books and people can tell you what to do, but your baby will do what he or she likes to do. Another thing somebody said, do you miss the poop smell of an exclusively breastfed baby? Yes, because now his poop smells like shit. And I used to think oh my god, there's nothing wrong with a baby diaper. And now I'm disgusting. It smells like shit. And so yes, I do miss that. And I throw away all dirty diapers outside in the trash because fuck a diaper genie, or any of that stuff. It is poop. I'm not having that sit in my house. No. So that goes outside. And let's see, what else did somebody say? How many kids do you want? I get really weird about this question because I feel very fortunate to have one baby. And I don't want to say oh, I want this many because I know that I'm just fortunate to have one. We envision our family with 2 children. And if we are, and I mean this seriously, blessed enough to have 2 babies, wonderful. That would be great. But I know how fortunate I am to have one. So that's that question. I thought there was one more. Oh, and if you want more, does that scare you? Absolutely. Because I know I say all the time now, this is so hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't even imagine doing 2. I can't. I don't know how people do it. My grandma had 8. And so many of your grandmas had 8. I don't know. But yeah, I'm terrified of that. But I feel you just gotta do it, and it happens. You get on with it. I think that was it. And now he's starting to cry. So, Next up, I will do, I think, vlog stuff. And maybe that'll be a post, maybe that'll be a video. Just keeping you on your toes, friends. All right, talk to you later.